He was unlike anyone I have ever met. He was a very noble person. He was very calm and very collected. There was something very special about him. We began a beautiful friendship where we talked about the things God had done in our lives and His dealings with us. We shared our hearts with each other, and it turned into a very nice friendship, and we fell in love with each other. I never told him to stop because this was something we had decided to do from a long time ago. It was what he was called to do. He wasn't interested in things on the earth like money and things you could gain. His purpose in life was bringing the gospel to people. But on several occasions, I told him to be careful about what he was saying.
En Colombia necesitamos más personas que den la vida por el Señor así como lo está haciendo.
He had had a lot of rejection from family and neighbors and people in the area. His family hated him. He was very vocal about not being in agreement with the things people were doing and that they weren't correct, and people didn't like that.
Y entonces pues nosotros, yo pensaba que...
A neighbor told us that he was going into an area that was FARC territory and that there were a lot of guerrillas there. And most people who went into that territory hardly ever came back. But we still had hope that he would be okay and show up. We were looking in the hospitals, through the Red Cross, everywhere we knew to look to see if someone had an accident or if someone had been robbed, something like that, to see if we could find him. They weren't very helpful. Some people said he may have gone off with another woman. I kept telling them he wasn't like that. I knew something was wrong. I got a call from the chief of the Indian Guard, and he told me not to look anymore for my husband because he was dead. We went to the Indian Territory on the Wednesday afternoon, and it was terrifying. They came out and searched us. They were very untrusting of us. They then brought us to a council meeting and said my husband had been choked to death, and they brought in his motorcycle. I was filled with so much anger towards them. But as I walked toward them, I felt this voice inside of me saying, "This is the moment when I need to see your testimony of me, the fruit of everything that you and your husband have been doing in the past years." I know that if they repented and would seek the Lord, that the Lord will forgive them and that He will welcome them home. I can't let anything in my heart get in the way of that. I don't know how to explain it, but in that moment they had this microphone there and I grabbed it and I began to preach. I still don't know how I did it. I know the Lord gave me the words to preach in that village. I began to speak about repentance and having a clean walk before God and coming before the Lord. It was because people weren't following God and having a fear of Him that there are so many widows in our country. And now I was joining the ranks of the thousands of widows in Colombia. I will continue to seek the Lord. It's very difficult, this walk without Pabel. All I know is that the Lord has been with us. I told them he wasn't coming back home, that he would never come home again. Sometimes it seems there is greater darkness than light, but I can see there are so many people around the world that not only love God, but they are walking in His purposes.
Las primeras misiones que el Señor me ha encomendado.
The first thing the Lord had me do was to go back to that very same village with boxes and boxes of Bibles and to preach with the same intensity that my husband did.